Welcome everyone. It's now 7 p.m. This will be the meeting of Mayor and Council for February 5th, 2015. And welcome everyone. This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act. An adequate notice of this meeting has been required by law. Certain portions of it may be closed to the public for the purpose of personnel and or other matters as outlined in the Sunshine Law. Decisions made and or discussed in closed session will be made known to the public at a later date. All contracts awarded by Mayor and Council must comply with the affirmative action requirements. Fire exits are located in directions I am pointing. In case of a fire, you will be notifying me via the public address system. If you are alerted for fire, please move in a very calm, orderly manner to the nearest smoke-free exit as directed by me over the public address system. Thank you. Madam Clerk, can I please have a roll call of council people?
Councilwoman Story. Here. Councilman Kelly.
Here.
Councilman Omarasi.
Here.
Councilman Viola.
Here.
Councilman Petrosky.
Here.
And Mayor Hokinson.
Present.
6 members present, Mayor.
Would you all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Eternal God, grant us thy help in all our duties and all our perplexities. We ask for thy guidance. Give us thy protection in all our dangers and all our sorrows. Grant us thy peace. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, are there any communications for this council to act on?
Yes, sir. There's a request from the Roselle Park High School musical director to display a 4x8 plywood sign in the grassy area near the gazebo on Chestnut Street to advertise their annual spring musical, Once Upon a Mattress, scheduled for March 26th to March 28th. They would like to set the sign up on March 5th and take it down on March 28th, and this is the same request that was made last year.
Okay. Are there any questions from any member of the council? Madam Clerk, can you roll call, please? Yeah, do I get a motion for the sign?
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the sign for the RPHS musical.
Second.
Okay.
Councilwoman Story.
Yes.
Councilman Kelly.
Yes.
Councilman Omarasi.
Yes.
Councilman Viola.
Yes.
And Councilman Petrosky.
Yes.
5 votes in the affirmative, Mayor.
This time, the report of the recommendation of the mayor, I'm going to hold off until last. Certificates.
Perhaps we could hold off on certificates for a while. Tours.
Carl, I don't think the two are coming, but we'll accept them if you have to.
You guys want to do it another day? You bring everybody back when it's warmer? You guys want to do it when it's warmer?
Yeah, we can do it tonight.
Well, I think it'd be, me personally, I'm talking to the other school guards in the audience, ladies and gentlemen. I just think it'd be nice if they were up here to take pictures and, you know. So how about we do it on another day?
All
Is that
right.
okay?
Okay.
I'd appreciate it.
Okay.
I thank you for coming out in the cold, and thank you for the children for standing out there in the snow and sleet. So, thank you, my school card mail people. Thank you. way you want to do it?
Maybe after we give our reports, they're running late.
Okay. And I don't see anybody from the first day squad, so we'll hold off on them.
Okay, your papers, got your papers.
Okay? Okay.
It's about that time to get it.
Okay. Report of standing committees and other committees, so
You dropped something.
last time, we're going to start tonight's meeting with Third Ward Councilman Kelly.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a quick update. I know at the last meeting I had mentioned public stuff. You may remember the mobile application that just kind of helps municipalities increase communication and efficiency. And it was said that, hey, what's the harm? Go out, ask them, and then maybe they'll provide us with a demonstration, which they said they would be glad to help us out with. But in the interest of time and organizing everybody's various schedules, I'll shoot everybody an email, just try to find out a day and time that works best for everybody. They do most of their demonstrations virtually over the computer, which is common practice with a lot of technology companies these days. But I'll just include those details in the email and any questions, and I'll CC the representative on there for that. I know one concern was raised as far as insurance claims with it. They said they'll be able to speak in detail towards that and history of the application and use and experience with municipal insurance companies as well. But just wanted to give a quick update on that front. But yeah, that'll conclude my report. I'll save the rest of my comments for some of the resolution ordinances tonight. Thank you, Mayor.
Fourth Ward.
Thank you, Mayor. At the Casano Community Center Community Affair Board of Meetings last night, new official were chosen for this year. Carpacino was elected as the chairman. Peter Nakayet, he's the vice chairman. Peter Laporta, I'm sorry, apologize. Peter Laporta was the vice chairman. Nadaya Rodriguez as a secretary, and Ruben Shaw as a treasurer. I also board also accepted the resignation of Mark Naki, who was moved out of the town of Roselle Park. Mark did a great job for the Casano Center community for many, many years, and he will be missed. Also, the spring food basket will be distributed on March 30. So anyone who is needed should be stopped by the Casano Center to sign up for the basket. Last month also I attended the Environmental Committee on January 22nd. It was a productive meeting for the Environmental Commissions, and we are excited about this year for what we can do for the bottom of Roselle Park. That would be my
Fifth Ward Councilman.
no report at this time.
Councilwoman Lawrence.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay. I have a few things. I'm out of order, I apologize. I know, it's here, honestly. Okay. All right, first of all, I'd like to express my condolences to the family of Javon Diaz, who was in a boating accident in Fort Lauderdale, and boating accident was Wednesday. Unfortunately, he did not make it, and he passed away today. So my sympathies to the family. Fire department. I toured the firehouses with Chief Signorella, so I have a good idea of exactly what all the questions that will be coming up this year are. I attended the last meeting at the Central Firehouse. Everything is moving along smoothly. I just want to remind everybody to clear the hydrants. If you have a hydrant in front of your house, or if you're on a corner, if you're in the middle of the block, wherever it is actually your responsibility to clear the hydrant, and really it's to your benefit too. I'm sure that you wouldn't want those few precious minutes lost if they had to hack through some ice and your house was on fire. So please do that. Let's see, there was an Historical Society meeting on January the 19th. Please note that future meetings will be held on the first Monday of each month at 7 p.m. The February 2nd meeting was canceled due to weather conditions, but it will be on the first Monday from now on. The museum is currently open on Wednesdays from 10 to 1. You can drop in then, and coming in the spring, it will be opening on those same hours on Saturdays, so we will have extended access. President Pat Butler reported at that meeting that membership is climbing with the recent addition of 31 members. Right now, the volunteers are very busy helping with the project to make a record of all the many items in our great little museum. Board of Education. On January 20th, Board of Education honored students who achieved perfect scores on the NJASK in math. That included Wendy Ahito, Nicholas Lopez, Daniel Curry, Sebastian Saavedra, I hope I have that correct, Zin Wang, Amparo Sanchez, Austin Kuterka, and Ivan Sanchez. And for a perfect score on the science part of that exam, Andres Avila. The board also recognized 2 students for advancement to the state level 1, the National PTA Reflections Program. Karen Saavedra, and for math and literature, and Sebastian Saavedra for music. So obviously a very hardworking and talented family. At the February 3rd meetings, Superintendent Garrido asked me to pass on his compliments to the mayor and to the DPW for the condition of the streets after the ice storm. He said he had driven around the town in the morning and, quote, "I couldn't believe how clean, safe, and clear the streets were." Close quote. The Library Board of Trustees has new officers. Pat Butler is the president, Joe DiOrio vice president, Dexter Dela Cruz secretary, and Sunjata Sekou treasurer. Those with difficulties opening doors will be happy to hear that the new automatic outer doors have been installed at the library and are working well. The inner door will be replaced with one that can be opened by pressing a button in a couple of weeks, and at that time the upper glass on the outside door will also be replaced. On a separate library matter, I'd like to mention that Library Director Susan Calantone and I have worked with the school's grant writer on an application for a grant for a Big Read program. If you're not familiar with that, that's something where the whole town reads the same book and talks about it. It's become a very popular effort. So we're hoping that we will receive that grant and have a great program for the entire town, the residents of all ages. Okay, also, Ms. Calantone, who is visiting her brand new grandson, Anthony, at the hospital tonight, so he's not here, asked me to mention these library programs. Tuesday, February 10th, 6:30 to 7:30, James Miles of Allied Wealth Partners will be presenting a workshop. It's time to start thinking about college, presenting funding solutions, options for grandparents to contribute towards their grandchild's education, so much more. Tuesday, February 17th, 6:30 to 7:30, Attorney Benjamin Ekman will present an interactive elder law and estate planning workshop. Thursday, February 19th at 6 p.m., Dr. Glenn Rosovac will present his dental health magic show. Learn the importance of brushing, flossing, and proper dental habits while watching him perform magic. Appropriate for children ages 3 to 9. Handouts and gifts for all. You must register at 245-2456. And I think that just about covers that. Thank you very much.
Councilwoman, if you may bring at the next meeting, going back to the DPW and the streets, there's, at Albion School, there's a handicap parking spot.
Yes.
Is it possible that we can coordinate with the Board of Education, people who do the plowing, and our guys, our DPW do the plowing, to make sure that handicap parking spot is free? Because apparently whoever did some plowing, they plowed it in, and the woman has 2 children that are almost legally blind.
Right.
So in the future, there's a way that we can, you know, I don't know if it's our guys that do it or if the Board of Education guys do it, but if we can just come to a joint effort to make sure that that parking spot is, handicap spot is kept clear at all times.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. Thank you. This time we'll go to members of council, and I will start, not council, I will start my borough engineer. Oh, Joey. I'm sorry, Eugene.
That's okay.
Councilman Eugene, I'm sorry.
That's okay, man. I'm gonna have to make my presence more than tapping on the microphone.
I apologize, I
That's all
apologize.
right. We're all new here. Well, I just would like to say, I heard a lot of talk about the weather, and all I was hearing over and over was snowmageddon, snowmageddon. How the state was closed down, and I was in constant contact with the Department of Public Works, me and my partner here, Joe. They did a fantastic job. We were driving around, I was driving around. Joe, working for the county, did a stand-up job too. We were interviewing people to replace the person at the code enforcement. There was a lot of candidates, a lot of good qualified candidates. We think we came up with the best one. We're sure of it. We were all in it. We all came to a decision, and the person we chose very highly qualified, and I think you'll be surprised once you meet the person. The interviews went on for a long time, but I didn't figure it was going to be as much work to interview people as it turned out to be. Very, very hectic. That was on the January 21st and the 22nd. On January 28th, we all attended at Casano Center, the calligraphy. Photos on the wall, very nicely done. I'd like to see a lot more of it in the future. It's my first one. As councilman, I'm going to attend as many as I can. I reach out to the public. Now I have my business cards, and I like to walk around, and I get a lot of people telling me that Roselle Park is the cleanest, because they go through Union, they go through Elizabeth, and when they get back home to Roselle Park, the streets were bare, blacktop, and that's what I want to hear. And I'm going to present the business of the month as soon as they get here. If they don't get here, I'll walk across the street and give it to them. It's the Express Cafe. It's dinner time, so I figured maybe they might come afterwards. So maybe we can get it. And as of right now, I'd like to speak a small part about people cleaning their driveways in front of their house and throwing the snow out in the street. It freezes up and causes a slippery hazard. There's some pumps are pumping it out, and this is something we have to look, as soon as the code enforcement person gets sworn in, we can address it. I'm not going to point any fingers right now. If it stops, maybe people hearing this broadcast will stop it on their own. Snow is going to be coming, and this is that time of year. During the summertime, some pumps will pump it out. It won't affect anybody, but it's going to freeze in front of your house, and people are going to slip and fall. And as of right now, that concludes my... I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Second word.
Thank you, Mayor. On January 17th, I attended the Knights of Columbus Pizza Pie contest, also with Mayor Carl Hogerson and Councilman Miola. There was 8 pizza parlors was in the run-in, and Pizza Stop was from Kenworth was declared the winner that night. As Eugene reported, on January 21st and 22nd, myself, Eugene, and Doreen met with the respective candidates for the code enforcement officer. And like Eugene had reported, I think we picked a good person, and I think she'll do a good job. On January 24th, I attended the pasta dinner for the Mascara family, and that is the family that's house burnt down on New Year's Eve, and it was very successful. The Knights donated a decent sum of money to them, and everyone had a good time, I believe. Okay. I also want to commend the DPW for a great job. We had a few snowstorms Again, coming from Elizabeth and everything else, once I got into Roselle Park, I seen a big difference. So I do want to commend our DPW for a great job. Next I'll be talking about is the Roselle Park Youth Baseball and Softball League. Registration is now being open for the 2015 season. Forms are available online at rpybl.org. The form has 2 pages. You can mail it to P.O. Box 94 or bring it to the field house, which is recommended because if you go to the field house with your application, you can also try on the uniforms to make sure your child's uniform is the right size and everything. There will be several in-person registrations. The first one will be Wednesday, February 11th from 6 to 8. Monday, February 16th from 6 to 8. Thursday, February 19th from 6 to 8. Tuesday, February 24th from 6 to 8. Friday, February 27th from 6 to 8. Tuesday, March 3rd from 6 to 8. And then the last date will be Saturday, March 7th from 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock. The deadline will also be March 7th. Just to let everyone know, hopefully everyone gets their application as soon as possible, because the later you wait and then turn in, we have to delay our draft. The later the season starts, our target date for the season will be April 18th, which is a Saturday. That'll be our parade, and we do our, our ceremony at the field. Any questions can be directed at the Vice President and Registration Chairman, Tracy Scott. Her email is tracyscott225@comcast.net, or you can phone her at 908-875-9222. As far as sponsors, anyone that is interested in sponsoring a team can contact me at 908-313-8558. And I'm also hoping mayor and council sign up this year, okay, as they usually do. Recreation soccer, indoor soccer started already, John?
Yes.
Yes, that was Sunday. Everything went well?
Yeah.
Very good. And basketball, did that start yet?
Teams were chosen, practices have started, but the schedule is not complete yet.
Okay, indoor soccer started last Sunday. Everything went well. Basketball, rec basketball, teams were picked, teams are practicing. There hasn't been a date yet for opening day. And also you can get me at jpetrosky@rosellepark.net or call me at 908-666-7821. And that's my report, Mayor.
One question?
Yes.
The Roselle Park baseball,
Yeah.
you can get that from the borough webpage too?
I believe
Yes.
we did that in the past.
Yeah, I think in case somebody forgets the
Right.
webpage, they can always go to the borough webpage, under departments is
Okay.
recreation, and link to your page,
Okay.
okay?
Okay, is the sponsor also on there?
We can go over that to make sure everything you
Okay.
want is on there.
I do have one form.
Sure. Whatever
We
you
look at
want.
that on also?
Yep.
Okay. Thanks, Dory.
No problem.
Okay, and that's my report, Mayor.
Very good, thank you.
Excuse me, Mayor, I'm sorry, I forgot one thing. I did send out some information to the council about prospective suppliers for a new webpage. I have heard back from some people, but not from everyone. If there's any more questions or anything, I'd like to move on that the next meeting. Thank you.
Okay, now, let me ask my borough engineer.
Sure can, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, everyone. Just a quick 3 things for tonight. Not much to report on. Obviously, the weather is detrimental to any type of construction progress, but February 11th, myself and Madam Clerk will be presenting the Seton Avenue Community Development application in front of the County Community Development Committee with the hopes of securing funds for that project. Seton Avenue is from Fayette Avenue down through 28. Secondly, the fire alarm project for Municipal Complex and Police Headquarters. Obviously, that job's been awarded. We had a pre-construction meeting last week. Shop drawings are into my office for review, so the contractor is anxious to start right away. We're coordinating our efforts with the PD to make sure that all lines of communication are left open and we have no issues accessing the police department and the municipal complex. And lastly, I would ask that a meeting be set up. We have new council members, we have new members on the Public Works Committee. And I would like to advise and at least bring them up to speed on the Public Works new building facility, show them the plans, project status, and the like. So I'd like to set up a meeting with the Public Works Committee. I guess the best way of communication would be email, and maybe we get a meeting on the calendar in the next week or so. And that's all I have to report now.
All right, well, we're going to shoot some dates out. You get to sit down with the committee.
That's fine. I'll do that from. I'll send out some dates tomorrow via email.
All right, get with the committee, and the committee will come back.
That's
to
correct.
the council. Very good, thank you. Our Chief Financial Officer?
Thank you, Mayor. Just as a side note with the CDBG program, we received a phone call today, I don't know if you got one also, from Tom Connell, who runs the CDBG program from the county, thanking us and would like us to meet with the other towns to find a way to get them to expedite their programs, but they're very pleased how we got our money spent in time and actually ahead of time and moving forward. So they just wanted to thank us and said he was going to look to hopefully reward us a little better. So just on that footnote. Just a friendly reminder, we have a budget meeting set up for Wednesday, February 11th at 6:30 p.m. And a friendly reminder, first quarter taxes are due February 1st. You have until the 10th to pay without interest. That's all I have at this time, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Yes, Mayor, I just have three items. I just want to remind everyone that the council will be having their ethics training on the 19th at 6 p.m. Also, a decision is imminently being made on the train station renovation project person who will be awarded the contract. I will have that in a presentation ready for the next meeting. And I have one item for closed, personnel and construction.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor. Members of council. Mayor, with regards to the legal front, there are some outstanding legal cases that are close to settlement. We've screened through the table to be signed by the other parties. So we've got some more update. That's by the second meeting in March. That's 2, 3, or 4 the meetings. In addition, just a reminder to everyone on the dais when we have our closed session items, it's important that anything that's in closed session remain in closed session. If there's any question or concern as to what was said, you certainly can give me a call as to what you can or cannot talk about, but for the most part, what's said in closed session needs to be held in closed session. Mayor, I have no closed session items, but I do have one question for Councilman Johnson. Councilman, I know you will submit your resignation, and I know it's the 5th of March, but it's included in the meeting that day, and I don't know if it's effective for the meeting or the meeting. Thank you, sir. After the meeting. Okay. And that concludes my report, Mayor.
Thank you. Reports of our departments, and I see our fire chief.
Good evening. Short report. Thanks to the folks in town that have been shoveling the hydrants for us. To the folks that have a hydrant in front of their house, help us out a little bit. And don't put the snow on the hydrant. Believe it or not, they do. And just the little thing for the fire trucks getting down the road. Some people have been, the roads have been tightened up now. They don't get close enough to the curb because, again, the guys have done a phenomenal job plowing. But they're a little shy of getting close to the snow. And now we had a call on Park Ave the other day. And if it was close, we could have probably got 2 trucks down the road with a little butter on the right side and left side. So don't be afraid to get close to the curb, the snow. It won't damage your tires. Other than that, training is normal, it's going on, and knock wood has been pretty quiet. Any questions? Any questions for me? Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Police Chief, Will Morris.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to start by congratulating our new council people, Councilman Miola, Councilman Petrowski, and our newly elected Councilwoman at Large, Charlene Story. I wish all of you the best of luck. Mayor Hokinson, you told me many, many years ago, more than either one of us would like to recall, that you were going to be mayor of Roselle Park one day. Well, you met that dream. Congratulations. I wish you all the best. Thank you. I'd also like to congratulate Mr. Joseph Gregory. He's been a crossing guard in Roselle Park for 22 years, ensuring the safety of our children to and from school. He was on the corner of Walnut Street and East Grand Avenue. He's done an outstanding job for us. He's been out there in the rain, the sleet, the storms. He retired after 22 years of service here in Roselle Park. I congratulate him and wish him all the best in his retirement. Mayor, I had spoken to you about the military vehicles. We now have a transport vehicle that can be used in up to 5 feet of water, can transport people, can remove people from flooded areas. I think it'll be a big asset to Roselle Park. We were just informed today that we've been approved also for a military Humvee. That vehicle would be easier to maneuver around in storms rather than driving around in a big transport vehicle. Transport vehicle will be used only in certain situations. So hopefully we'll never have to use them, but at least we have them. They're on a maintenance schedule and they'll always be ready and able to operate. Snow streets. I urge the public to remove their cars from the snow streets. It's a public safety issue. We go through this year after year. The past couple snowfalls, we've issued over 150 summonses to vehicles that were on the streets. We don't want to issue summonses. However, it's basically just an eye-opener that we will tow the cars if they are public safety issues. People have to realize that these vehicles can obstruct a fire vehicle, an ambulance. Once the vehicle is there and there's an emergency on that street, it's too late then. The cars have to be moved from the street. We don't want to ticket them. We allow you to park in the municipal lots. I urge the residents to please just remove their vehicles from the street while it's snowing. After they're plowed, you can put them back. On the subject of snow, DPW, once again, they really do an outstanding job. They work very, very well with the police department. If we see a hazardous condition, they respond right away, clear it up. Our streets are really clean. I check in other jurisdictions and compare them to Roselle Park. There's really no comparison. Most of the time, DPW has the streets right down to the pavement. That's a public safety issue in itself. They're ensuring that the safety of the public as they're driving and even walking on the streets. So I commend them for their efforts. They do a fine job. And that concludes my report.
Any questions to our chief?
Chief, just for clarification to the public, those military vehicles were free of charge?
Free of charge.
I just wanted to comment, we spoke a few days ago about the business across the street and the 15-minute parking. I went there tonight and I saw a patrolman outside there. I'd like to thank you for that. 2 businesses also commented to me about that and they appreciate it.
As we have spoke, I think the residents that live in that area got used to there not being a business there, and we weren't enforcing the 15-minute parking. However, there is a business there now, we're addressing it, and I think the people will get the idea that it's a 15-minute parking. But we'll certainly monitor this situation.
It's very helpful, I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, chief.
Thank you.
chief of police said, and our fire chief, it's essential that the hydrants in the streets get cleared, but also it's required by law within 24 hours after the snow falls, you, the homeowner, are required to make a path of your sidewalks. So if you haven't done it, please do, because again, it's only a safety issue for not only you, for everybody else that goes up and down the street, but it is a requirement of the law, and I would appreciate it, you know. And also, the people on the corner, I just see them doing the sidewalks. Sometimes it'd be nicer just to go right out to the street, you know, especially along Grant Avenue, and it's, you know, the streets going to and from the school. The children gotta walk there. So I see the children going up over the mounds, you know, it's not safe for them. So please, we did a great job this snowstorm, and I don't want to get lax, but I'll talk about that later. Everybody got a copy in the minutes on your email for the construction code, also the DPW, and our engineering report. Everybody got a copy of them. So at this time, may I have a motion to approve the reports of the departments?
Mayor, I would like to make a motion to approve the reports of departments.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Ooh, we're moving quite along here, so a little bit early. Thank you for, so at this time, may I have a motion to open the meeting to the public?
Mayor, I would like to make a motion to open the public portion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. The public portion of this meeting is now open. You'll please come forward. You'll give your name, address, and tell me more.
My name is Alan Gatto. I live at 515 Roosevelt Street. I just want to let you know I did do the drains on my block. Nobody else was doing the drains. I just want to read one quick letter because I wanted to write it.
Can you hold on one second, sir? Yes.
Alan Gallo.
G-A.
G-A-T-T-O.
Go ahead, sir. Thank you.
Over the past couple of years, I have made numerous complaints to Councilman Yakubov, former Mayor Accardi, and to other members of council about the snow plowing on the 500th block of Roosevelt Street. It is a very narrow block. What occurs every snowstorm is the Department of Public Works first plows the vast majority of snow to the right side of the street, which is going uphill on the block. It's a narrow street. They come up, they plow to the right side of the block. The plow operator goes all the way up to West Colfax Avenue. He turns around, then comes down the block, throwing very little snow and slush to the other side of the street. This pattern continues all night long until the snow stops. At around 5:30 in the morning, I am the first one to start shoveling about 4 times the amount of snow as is on the other side of the street. It usually takes me about 3 hours to shovel out my car and my complete driveway out into the street. To give a council of an example of what I'm talking about, on Sunday night, Super Bowl Sunday, I parked my wife's car on the other side of the street, up the block. On Monday morning, it took me exactly 13 minutes to shovel her car out on the other side of the street. People who live on the other side of the street have the luxury of sleeping very late. They come out, shovel their walks and their driveways. Even without a snowblower, most of them are done in about a half an hour. What makes matters worse is the fact that normally parked in this street on 3 houses to my left, I live in the 4th house on the block, people have SUVs and trucks. What the owners eventually do is they do a few minutes of shoveling of their front tires. Then they force the SUVs and the trucks out, leaving most of the slush and the snow in the street. Even when I am standing outside in my cleaned-off driveway, the DPW plow operator takes all the slush and snow and pushes it directly in my driveway, even if I'm standing there. Councilman Yakubov did speak to other residents on the right side of my block last year, and they verified that what I am saying is the truth. Both Councilman Mike and former Mayor Accardi told me they spoke with the DPW head last year, and the procedure would be alternated. So sometimes start going down the block and then coming up the block. However, this has not come to pass. DPW was quoted as saying it is more efficient to plow in the way we do. This is obviously nonsense. It doesn't make any difference whether you plow up the block first or down the block first. Plowing down the hill first makes even more sense because if there's ice on the street, you can always put your car downhill out of the parking spot easier than it is to push a car uphill on ice. I believe I am the oldest man on the block by quite a bit. I'm 69 years old. It is simply wrong to ask a 69-year-old man to carry thousands of pounds of snow and slush to find a spot to deposit it on the street. Sometimes I have to carry it about 30 feet down the block and on the other side of the street because there's nothing, I don't put it in the street, I put it on the sidewalk and stuff. What I am asking is not special treatment. I am asking that the DPW does the fair thing. If the first pass you start on the bottom of the block and throw everything to the right, an hour or two later, start on the top of the block and throw the snow to the other side first. I know Mike and Ryan are aware of my complaints about the plowing, because I've mentioned it on your website enough times. I would like to at least get some input from the mayor and council that something will change, because I've been promised that enough times that it's going to change, and it never changes. I know that the people on the block think I'm crazy for doing all that shoveling at my age, but if I don't do it, nobody else is going to do it. The guy to my left is a disabled policeman. The people on the other side are tenants, and they don't really feel it's their responsibility to shovel the street and everything like that. I'm just asking once in a while to start going down the block and plowing to that side first. I have nowhere to put the snow. I have to carry the snow somewhere. I judge, I'm not an expert on snow and how much it weighs and everything, but I would imagine that I carried on like the Super Bowl Sunday, about 1,000 pounds of snow I'm carrying during the day. Today, just to give you one final example of what happened. Yes, the police officer came on our block yesterday, and I don't know if he gave a summons or a warning to the two cars directly opposite my house. They had not cleaned off their car. They had not shoveled any of the snow around. Yesterday, after the police officer gave them that, they just got their cars out of there, they put it in the driveway. Okay, they just left the snow there. There was a gigantic pile of snow about that high on the other side of the street. The plow operator came going up the block and whacked a big chunk of ice that was about, I guess, about 50 pounds, and others, and he just left it in front of the woman's driveway out there. So I went outside to help her out and get rid of that snow, get rid of that big chunk of ice and everything out of the street. And I slipped and fell on my behind. Luckily, I'm in pretty good shape and I didn't get hurt or anything like that.
Mr. Gatto, I'm sorry, I have to run. Mr. Gatto, the time is up. My apologies.
Can I have that? You need that? Can I have that? Yeah, okay, well, I'm now going to turn it over to my... This is Joe Petrosky. He's the liaison for DPW.
I know his brother from the
Well, he's going to take care of it.
If I could just
We'll get
comment.
back to you.
Let me just comment as well, Mr. Guy. I really want to thank you for taking the time to come here this evening, because I know for actually the past 2 years we've spoken about it. Each year I did reach out to the Superintendent of Public Works and asked them to make sure that that's something that they're cautious of. I think on some occasions they were. However, when I have passed by there, I have seen what you're talking about. I know some people may think it's silly where you talk about the snow, but there is quite a bit of snow on your side, and it is exorbitant compared to the other side. So I do understand. I don't think they did intentionally. I know we communicated. I'm sorry that it has continued. I hope that it gets addressed at this point. And I have brought up the idea of, as complaints come in regarding snow, because there's just so much of it to put it, whenever we go out on the cars to plow, that there's a little note for everybody that's indicating, this area in particular has an issue or has an issue. And hopefully it won't be too many of those type of situations, but at least you don't have to rehash it every time it's already there. So I appreciate you taking the time to come out.
Mayor, I will get a hold of the superintendent tomorrow on your request, okay?
If you need to get any personal information or anything, phone numbers.
I think he has everything here.
Does it? Okay, very good. Anyone else wishing to come up and speak, please give your name, address, your phone number.
Bob De La Rosa, 706 Galloping Hill Road. I want to introduce myself to some of you people that do not know. I am your electrical inspector in town. I'm also a subcode official, and I hold a license as a construction official. Okay, at one time, I was also the apartment house inspector in town. I'm past fire chief, and I've been on the fire department this April 48 years. So I have been in town quite a while and know quite a bit about the town. If anybody has any questions, feel free to call me. We can talk about whatever your concerns are or your questions, and that also goes to the public. When I was the inspector prior in 2007, I'm going to say in the same policy, my door is always open 7 days a week. Okay, not just specific days. The main reason why I came here is because I was at the reorganization meeting and heard all the speeches that were given, and I truly, truly hope that the honesty that I heard that day is going to manifest over the course of the years to help Roselle Park build back up to the great community it was years ago. Pardon me, sir?
Sorry for interrupting.
Is. But one of the comments that I heard there stuck in my head quite a bit, and that came from the mayor. And it wasn't a comment, it was a word. And when I heard it the first time, I thought it was nice, but it didn't dawn on me. Several days later, I just happened to flipping around on TV, get on channel 34, and it just at that incident is when the mayor was using this word in his speech, and I listened to it, and it kind of like got to me, and I really enjoyed hearing it, the way he expressed it. And that word was parkers, not residents, not taxpayers, parkers. That gave me the sense of that I own part of Roselle Park, which I do. I have a house, I pay my taxes, but I am own a part of Roselle Park. As you can tell, in my 49 years of marriage, 48 of them have been with Roselle Park. And you can see that I wear my jacket proudly, that I am a volunteer fireman and have been a volunteer fireman. Not as active as I'd like to be, but I still try to attend as much as I can. And in the case of being proud, I'm proud of walking around with this on. So I said to myself, how can I be proud to be a Parker when I'm walking around? And the simplest way, ladies and gentlemen, is I went and I got t-shirts made. And the t-shirt says Roselle Park with two hands clasped, and on the bottom it says, I am a Parker.
Turn around.
Please do not throw money, folks.
No. It's already been paid for. these were purchased, I bought T-shirts, and Mr. Mayor, without anything, you were a Parker, you're the one that did it, so this one's yours.
Thank you.
And there are 30 more T-shirts in here that I would like you to give out to people who are truly Parkers. Okay? So, here you go, partner.
Smell one, Bob.
Huh?
I want to see if you look.
Nope. If you did, good for you. Yeah. And I hope, over the course of the years that come under your tutelage, all of you, and Mr. Yacob, I just found out that you're leaving. The best of luck to you and your family.
Thank you.
I hope that everybody works together as a unit. I have been in this town, like I said, going on 49 years. And I have seen what goes on, and it's not needed. We are a small community, a proud community, a well-volunteered community. Like I say, a lot of people do not know, but our fire department happens to be totally volunteer. Okay? Our first aid squad is totally volunteer. So, the volunteerism is there. Your cooperation to work together with the mayor and everybody else for one goal, make Roselle Park greater than it is. Good luck to you all. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Huh?
And I appreciate the comment. You gave me a large, so I appreciate it.
Same one I wear.
I need one too.
Not a large. That's why I got extra large. Double X.
Okay. Anyone else wishing to speak, please come forward. Give your name and address, please.
How you doing? Every day's a day.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Christopher Miller, 520 East Grand Avenue. First off, I want to say congratulations, Mayor Hopkinson, on your inauguration, and the councilwomen and men who have been elected. Mayor Yakubov, or Councilman Yakubov, I congratulate you on your service, and I wish you well, you and your family well in the future. Thank you for your time. Just wanted to make a couple comments on wearing a couple hats. And first off, I want to echo some sentiments of what a great start we're off to this year, and actually what a great start we got off to it as far as December is concerned, with that great initiative by the fire department with Santa, giving Santa a lift to come and visit some of our children in Roselle Park, and that was a great success, and that was just fantastic. My wife and I were very, very pleased, and just the proactiveness of Roselle Park, with our firemen and the volunteer hours that they gave, I think that was fantastic. My kids got the biggest kick out of it, and hopefully that tradition will continue for years to come, because that's just going to grow, because other kids are going, oh my gosh, Santa visited you guys, well, we want Santa to come next year to us, so that's going to grow, and that's just a great outreach. So, I congratulate the fire department, all you guys for doing a wonderful job, and that really made our holiday special. And as far as the police is concerned, I've been running these streets for the past 4 or 5 years, like very insanely early in the morning, and this past year or so, I just want to put my hats off to Chief Morrison and just the amount of police presence that I see on the streets in the early morning, and I'm talking about 4:30 and 4 o'clock, 4:30 in the morning, where, many years ago I didn't see anybody, and I saw more police in Kenilworth when I ran through there than in Roselle Park, but as of late, every time I would go out, I'd see, that SUV, the police vehicle, just making its rounds, and the presence, and that's really satisfying, especially to my family, and just to know that they're out there keeping our community safe. And also, Mr. Gatto, I'm sorry about your challenges that you have, and hopefully they'll be resolved with the snow clearing issues that you have. But I just want to commend the DPW as far as I'm concerned with the snow clearing, and they've been on this job and on the streets for a long time,
and when the snows come out, they're really out there and clearing the streets and making it safe for us. So I commend them, and I've had positive experiences, and I wish you the best of luck in the future. What's that?
I know your name, but who are you?
Oh, I'm a Parker for 19 years. It's Christopher Miller.
Are you in the,
I'm actually going to tell you in a moment, I'm with the Board of Education in Roselle Park. And that's a great segue, so thanks so much for that.
I also work, I'm substitute.
Oh, you really? Oh, excellent, excellent. I'm a teacher myself. So great. Well, thank you for your service in the public education. But speaking of public education, I just wanted to say, we're excited as the Board of Education. First of all, I see Mrs. Story and we saw Mr. Kelly also as well as our Board of Ed liaisons. Mr. Harms is the liaison for the municipality, which you will see him here and there as well. And I look forward to opening up continuing dialogue with the municipality and the school district as far as getting the word out about our wonderful schools. And we mentioned TV Channel 34 earlier, and Mr. Jeffrey Vita is our tech chairman, and I'm going to speak with Mr. Vita about working with the municipality and seeing how we can utilize Channel 34 to get news out, wonderful news out about our schools, such as the robotics club that we have in the high school, which has over 40 applicants or 40 members that just scored highly in a state competition. Actually, they qualified for states, and they're going to be on February 21st down in Cherry Hill East, and they're going to be in the state's finals for a robotics competition. And basically, what that is they created a robot in a robotics club with under the tutelage of Mr. Jameson Chin and Mr. Hilton Seibert. And this robot does certain tasks, and it's in this big square, about, I don't know, maybe 20 by 20 feet, and they have to do certain tasks. And, well, one of our gentlemen were controlling it, and that placed 17th in the state. And then there's an autonomous category where they just put it there, and it goes and it does certain tasks, and they actually placed 3rd in the state, which was wonderful. And actually, their score that they got, actually, pardon me, was #1 for autonomous that they scored. And that score was best in Connecticut, New Jersey, and in Pennsylvania. So they're really excited, and they rank worldwide. I think Roselle Park ranks 45th in autonomous programming for robotics, and that's just a club in the high school. So really, the community needs to see this because, yes, obviously, we share the larger part of the tax burden on the town, but we want to show the community that where their tax dollars are going, and the exciting things that are happening. As far as the new the refurbished auditorium, the new sign out in the high school, the sci-tech reach that we're not only going into high school, but reaching down into the middle school as well, because we want to keep our Roselle Park students in Roselle Park and not going anywhere else, because this is the place to be and the programs are exciting. So I want to get the word out. So working with Channel 34, getting it out there for the community residents to see and to understand is just another vehicle that we can use. So it can clear up any misconceptions and counter any rumors or Facebook innuendos that are out there, because we have a wonderful school system and we really want to publicize it. So I'm looking forward to that. And Ms. Story, it's great seeing you out there all the time, and look forward to seeing you some more. Sure. Now I'm going to take off my Board of Ed hat, and I'm going to put on my citizen hat. And I just wanted to say, back in mid-January, indoor soccer, recreation indoor soccer was dead in the water, where in the past, the people who were running it were not running it at all, and it was not going to happen at all. And we undertook reviving it. And that was actually our first meeting, I believe, was January 17th. And we had this plan to get it going and to get it running, because it's an 8-week season that we wanted to have. And it was a Herculean task, but I just want to say we got it done, and opening day was this past Sunday. And we have 18 teams in indoor. What does that mean? That means around 280 students, 280 children, from kindergarten all the way up to 8th grade were playing. And it's an 8-week season, and we had to do some Saturdays, but we got it all in. And I can only attribute that to the hard work and the cooperation from the finance department and the municipality. And I just wanted to say, I called up, and I was like a blindfolded man walking down an alley trying to find out clues of what was happening in the past. And it was very hard, and being a teacher, full-time teacher, and also a father of two, it was challenging, but it was made much easier by Dina, Rachel, Lisa, and Mr. Blum as well in the finance department, and I thank you, because they were very flexible, and it was like a perfect storm, by the way, because I called them, the first time I called them to get our registration forms out, because I didn't know that it had to be approved by the municipality, and they were in the middle of their audit, so it was like, but they overlooked that, and they stepped aside, and they even made an in-person registration at Sherman School the next week, and they were very, very flexible. And I just wanted to say, hats off to you guys, and thank you so much.
Question, you said your students came in first?
The robotics club, yes, in their scoring. It was down at the Rainey School in Eatontown, New Jersey.
Mr. Harms, or yourself, through Councilwoman Story, as our liaison to the board, bring them in?
Absolutely. I can even ask them to bring a robot in, too. They can do a demonstration.
That would be great.
All right.
This robot shovel snow.
I bet, you know what? Angel just said it.
I know right where to go with it. You show us snow.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? I will reach out and I will talk to Mr. Chin and see if we can do that.
Perfect. And if I just may say, I know, it's more than just interesting. This is just an area that's exploding. As it happens in my own family, my niece and my husband are both engineers. He has his doctorate in artificial intelligence. They work on this kind of, actually it's for vehicles that, in a sense, robotic vehicles that will just start, be self-driving. So I know a little bit, about this area and how it is just really, an explosive area, and it's a great thing that our borough is moving forward in educating people in this, because it really is an area for the future.
Exactly. When we go into the rest in the high school, we want to do the reach down to the middle school, and even in the elementaries, with a prime focus on our young ladies too, as well, to get them motivated to progress. So, and it just makes Roselle Park Educational System, our district, a more attractive place to stay and not go anywhere else. And that's our goal.
Thank you.
Thank you, and good luck.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to come up to speak?
Jacob McGarrett, 6 Below Sheridan Avenue, Roselle Park. Ladies and gentlemen, the audience, viewing audience, members of council, Mayor Hokuson, good evening. And no, I don't want a shirt from Mr. Della Rosa because he's got a little bump in front of it.
That's my face,
Saturday, February 7th, the concerned citizens of Roselle Park have a meeting across the street at the Express Cafe, 111 East Westfield Avenue, Roselle Park. That's February the 7th.
What time?
Drink and food complimentary.
What time?
There are 16 people in the audience this evening.
What time, Jay?
What time?
What time?
Oh, I'm sorry. From 1 to 2:30 p.m. 1. I just, out of curiosity, yesterday went to the tax office, and I had gotten my tax increases for the last 3 of 2012, 13, and 14. Came out to $553.47, which means this year, with the taxes, I start off with $553 increase. plus whatever you folks are going to increase our taxes for whatever needs we have. Last council meeting, Resolution 4515 and 5415. There was some conversation going on with that. So tonight I look for Resolution 4515 and 5415, which were tabled, and there is none. They're gone. In place is 6115 and 6215. And it's just as complicated as the last resolutions, 4515 and 5415. And if somebody would please explain that, and what happened with the, I was under the impression that this position was going to go to a Mr. Graves, Rich Graves, who's been an employee of the town for so many years. Did he get certification certified, or did he go to school, did he get, or whatever. It's a procedure for this type of a job. And I'm certainly, he knows the sewers and whatever.
Mr. Manager, you as the public can speak about.
I only get about 7 minutes with this.
I'll wait till you're done.
Okay. Okay.
You, the public, can speak about the person. We as council cannot, because he was not riced. So just to let you and other council members know, and anybody else out in the audience, you can speak about that person. We cannot, because he was not riced, or the other person.
Why wasn't he riced?
He just wasn't riced.
Can we get a legal answer?
Mr. Majority, the Mayor is correct. Mr. Graves was not riced. Why he wasn't, I couldn't tell you why he wasn't. He's not going to be talked about by Mayor and Council because he wasn't riced. I don't want to speak for the Borough Clerk, but I don't know if anyone requested that he be riced. I'm imagining he wasn't. No one made that request, hence he wasn't riced. But since he's, as the Mayor said, since he has not been riced, no one from Mayor and Council will be permitted to talk about Mr. Graves.
Mr. Yakubov, would you publicly at this council meeting confirm that you are resigning from council?
I'm stepping down March 5th.
March 5th.
Correct. Absolutely.
And the explanation why?
Rather not get into it. It's a personal decision, but I will say a few words at the last meeting.
The last meeting, not this meeting.
Correct.
So will someone like to explain why the resolutions were changed? Are they still active, or they just voided?
Tabled and voided.
Tabled and voided. Now would somebody like to explain 6115 and 6215?
That will be done probably in a little while.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the audience, viewing audience, members of council, Mayor Holkerson, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Thank you.
Jen just go to 311 East Lincoln Avenue. I'm actually up here just to let you guys know, through my place of employment, I am a member of the New Jersey Parks and Rec, and it's been brought to my attention that Roselle Park is not. It's a great association for us to look into. They get together, they have an annual conference where you have CEUs, so your employees or recreation volunteers can go and learn about other things that are going on within the state. You know, different programs, different ways do registration, things like that. And I was wondering if I could get you guys the information if you want to get together and talk about it. It's just, there's so many opportunities for us that we're kind of missing by not being part of this group. That's it. Sorry.
On behalf of myself, and I am speaking on myself, you know I've said it over the last 6 years and 6.5 years, any information, I'm all for it. If you want to meet me personally, if you want to try to, get together, I mean, you have my numbers, I'd be more than happy to sit down and listen, because the more information we have and the more stuff that we get, it's fine with me.
I mean, it comes up right now, it's the annual conference from March 8th through the 11th. So I spend 3 days down there, but there's 4 days worth of education and different products. It just alone, when you go into, they have, I want to say vendors, but not vendors, they have all the different playground companies, different ideas for you to be able to, like turf companies, things to be able to reach, grants that are available, and a wealth of knowledge through just talking to other members. So I don't know who the rec person is. If we want to figure out, get together, I'll get you the information. We can meet. I have no issue. March 8th through the 11th. The membership, I don't quote me on it, it's about $200 a year per person. It more than pays for itself.
Councilman Petrowski's there, our liaison to the Recreation Department.
All right.
So why don't you coordinate
Okay.
him?
Give me a card, Joe. You know where to find me.
Once I can come back, or if you want to try to, the three of us go out, that's
Yeah,
fine.
that's
Or
fine.
any other member of council?
Anybody?
Right, no, I'm just trying to figure out if it's more than 4, we can't do it, so.
Oh, because then that becomes a
Right, then
majority, yeah.
if it's 4, we can't.
Quorum.
So if it's Councilman Petrowski, myself, and if any other member wants to volunteer, we can meet. Anything after 4, then we got to advertise.
Okay, I'm just glad to hear it. I would,
Okay,
one more year. Okay.
good, thank you. Anyone else?
Saul Curzon, 150 Berwyn Street. I know these are already ordinances for first reading, but 2432. Is that for just all businesses or just municipal buildings? I guess is my main question.
What was the question, sir?
The amended or the added section, is that for municipal buildings or all buildings, the accessory parking?
All buildings, sir.
So all unused spaces on all buildings? I guess it'll be talked about, that was my main question, so perhaps maybe more can be brought up later. With resolution, because I guess in line with that I was wondering about, not this lot, which is in front, and clearly states that all parking is for borough business. That lot behind the building states that it's permit parking, I believe, from 8 to 5. And there's no mention of its use at any other time. And wondering if if it is understood that that can be used as a public lot, if something needs to be done to be used as a public lot. For instance, the restaurants across the street, there's limited parking, but I don't know if people go, oh, let's park over here, because it says there just permit parking between 8 and 5, Monday through Friday. So if someone who wants to get Stephanie's or Express or anywhere, if they were to park here, is there anything in the code? Because there is kind of.
To answer your question, 402303E
Yes.
falls under B2 Central Business District.
Okay, thank you. But this is a separate question, so I don't know if that has been addressed, or if that is addressed, or if someone could address that
from a legal standpoint, I don't know if it would be the attorney or the police or whomever, about the use of this parking lot after hours. Because this one says at all times, but that one doesn't. And it kind of leaves it open to interpretation. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. And I just have questions on some resolutions. For the vegetative waste, 5815, that's for suburban. Is there any change from the last amount that they bid?
First year's the same, the second year's about,
6,000 more.
Right.
It's a 3-year contract. It was put out to bid. Suburban was the only bidder. First year's the same price at $139,500. Then I believe it goes to $145,500 and then $151,500.
Thank you. For resolution 5915, the agreement between the borough and the Public Works Group, is that the union for the, and what is the amount? Because it doesn't state it on the resolution. Or percentage?
Same as the other groups, 5 years, 2% per year.
Thank you.
Everything was 2%, 5 years.
Thank you. The Historical Society for $675, that's the same amount, right?
That is an increase starting in April, $25 per month. It was $650 ending March per month.
Okay. So it's 25 times 12. So it's $300 more a year. About.
250.
And then I guess the last question is, just because of my math, 6815, it says checks totaling 26 and change. For redemption of 5 certificates totaling 56,400. Is that because of that premium amount that they bid over?
The 26,000 is the amount to redeem the lien. The premium portion of 56,400 is what the lien holder put a premium on to get that property.
But the municipality is only responsible for the 23.
The municipality is not responsible for any of it.
I'm sorry, not responsible.
The lien holder,
they held it.
the lienee is redeeming the lien on their property. So
For
they
that
paid the 26,390.68.
Right.
That now goes to the lien holder, and the lien holder gets their premium money back.
From the lien holder? From the lienee?
From the lien, the person who put the lien on is the one who put the 56,000 up. They're getting their money back.
This is from those tax sales, right?
Yes, correct.
Which is a very bizarre thing, but anyway. Thank you very much.
Anyone else wishing to come up and speak? Please. Step forward, give your name and address. What's on your mind? Okay. Seeing no one coming forward, may I have a motion, please, to close the public portion of the meeting?
I'd like to make a motion to close the public portion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes to be approved, pending any corrections. May I have a motion that the minutes be approved, pending any corrections?
Mayor, I would like to make a motion that the minutes be approved pending any corrections.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion that the bills and payrolls be not read and passed for payment?
Mayor, I would like to make a motion that bills and payrolls be not read and passed for payment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ordinance for second reading. Introduction. May I have a motion that ordinance number 2432 be adopted on its first reading?
Mayor, I would like to make a motion that ordinance number 2432 be adopted on first reading and advertised as prescribed by law for second reading and public hearing on March 5th, 2015.
Okay, Madam Clerk, can we please read it by title only, please?
Yes, sir. Ordinance 2432 is an ordinance amending Chapter 40, Section 40-2303P of the Code of the Borough of Roselle Park entitled Off-Street Parking to include 40-2803P1 and 40-2803P2.
And again,
Sorry about that.
that's all right, we're both sorry. May I have a motion on ordinance 2432 be adopted on its first reading?
Mayor, I would like to make a motion that ordinance number 2432 be adopted on first reading and advertised as prescribed by law for second reading and public hearing on March 5th, 2015.
Second.
Just to save time, can I just get a brief explanation just for just my own sake? 2432 and then 33, 34, just for clarification.
Well, these recommendations came from the Municipal Land Use Board. It's my understanding that they want situations where if you own a piece of property and you have parking that you have the availability to let some business or somebody use that area to park after you're closed, and without coming to get a variance or going through a big ordeal. That's 2432. The signs, they wanted to fix the flashing, fluttering, and moving signs in regard to sizes and what was prohibited and what wasn't. That flashing and fluttering and moving signs are permitted only under following regulations, that they just have to get the proper permits, and they're restricted to the front of the building. They can't put them on the sides of buildings or on a freestanding pole. And I believe they changed the percentage of the coverage on the 2433. On 34 fences, they wanted the side yards where right now our existing code book requires only 6 foot on the sides. They saw no reason why you can't go 8. If you should have, they said that if you have a house that is in disrepair next door to you, that you should be allowed to, up until the edge of your house, which is you can't go beyond the beginning of your house, the end of your house. But if it's your yard, you should be able to go on the sides 8 foot. So that's a change that they said not to exceed 8 feet in all rear and side yards. That was the change on that one.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Kelly, just to give you like an idea, if the restaurant on West Westfield Avenue, Castle, wanted to make an agreement with the gentleman across the street on that lot, at one time it used to have to be a standard 20-foot lot, almost like a normal parking spot. There were circumstances, it's private property, it's after hours, we don't own it, so we're just, if you want to make an agreement, and have people go park over there, it's an agreement between the two businesses. So it's just easier, because now it doesn't come back, where you have to have
Change of use.
thing. The fences is self-explanatory. At one time, when I bought my house 20-something years ago, you were allowed to do 6 and 8. Then it was changed, and then it went down to 6. Now it's what's happening is if you're along with the businesses and the railroad tracks or something like that, so now you go to 8 foot. Try to make it a little more eye-pleasing for the homeowner. So they're looking out something that's, yucky.
And that would have required a variance in the past. They're trying to make it easier for a homeowner to get something done on the property without always having to look for it.
Gotcha, all for it.
That's the goal, trying to make it easier for everybody. Okay, so we're on 2433, or 32, I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead again. Madam Clerk, can we get a roll call on 2432, please?
Councilman Yeffelbeau?
Yes.
Councilman Story? Yes. Councilman Kelly?
Yes.
Councilman Del Marassi?
Yes.
Councilman Miola?
Yes.
Councilman Petracco?
Yes.
Six votes in the affirmative.
Okay, Madam Clerk, will you please read ordinance number 2433, 2433, please.
Is an ordinance amending Chapter 40, Section 4302-C25, awnings and signs in R1, R2, R3, R4, B1, B2, B3, SCH, including districts as defined in Chapter 40, land use of the revised general ordinances of the Borough of Roselle Park and 430214 of the Code of the Borough of Roselle Park entitled Prohibited Signs and Sign Activities.
Okay, may I have a motion that ordinance number...
You know, I was twisted tongue twister.
I have a motion that ordinance number 2433 be adopted on its first reading.
Mayor, I would like to make a motion that ordinance number 2433 be adopted on first reading and advertised as prescribed by law for second reading and public hearing on March 5th, 2015.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Councilman Yucca.
Yes.
Councilwoman Story.
Yes.
Councilman Kelly.
Yes.
Councilman Rossi.
Yes.
Councilman Viola.
Yes.
And Councilman Petrowski.
Yes.
6 votes in the affirmative, Mayor.
Okay. Madam Clerk, can you please read ordinance number 2434
It's an ordinance amending Chapter 40, Section 40-3004 of the Code of the Borough of Roselle Park entitled Fences.
May I have a motion that ordinance number 2434 be adopted on its first reading, please?
Mayor, I would like to make a motion that ordinance number 2434 be adopted on first reading and advertised as prescribed by law for second reading and public hearing on March 5th, 2015.
Second.
Madam Clerk, please.
Councilman Yucca.
Yes.
Councilwoman Story.
Yes.
Councilman Kelly.
Yes.
Councilman Rossi.
Yes.
Councilman Viola.
Yes.
Councilman Petrowski.
Yes.
6 votes in the affirmative, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Ordinance number 2435, Madam Clerk, please.
Is an ordinance amending ordinance 2364, fixing the salaries of the Department of Public Works employees of the Borough of Roselle Park in the County of Union, State of New Jersey for the years 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019.
Okay. May I have a motion that ordinance number 2435 be adopted on its first reading, please?
Mayor, I would like to make a motion that ordinance number 2435 be adopted on first reading and advertised as prescribed by law for second reading and public hearing on February 19th, 2015.
I hear a second? Second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Yucca.
Yes.
Councilwoman Story.
Yes.
Councilman Kelly.
Yes.
Councilman Rossi.
Yes.
Councilman Viola.
Yes.
And Councilman Petrowski.
Yes.
6 votes in the affirmative, Mayor.
Okay. Now, in our resolutions. All matters listed with the aspects are considered to be routine and non-controversial by council and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a member of the governing body so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda as part of the general orders. I think we did well last week, the last meeting. So I'm in recommendation of pulling everyone, and we'll just go through everyone. Everybody in favor of that? Did we do last time? We'll read the resolution. I'll ask for any comments, any discussion, and if it's green, then we'll vote on it, and we'll go to the next one. Okay, resolution 5515, Madam Clerk.
Is the appointment of referees for the 2016 Roselle Park Recreation Indoor Soccer Season.
Any comments, any questions? As you heard, Mr. Miller, 260 some odd children are in the program. I think it's fantastic.
Whatever you have, that's fine. All in favor is fine. We just read it. All in favor is great.
Want to do it that way? All in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. I'm sorry, you did a motion and need a second.
Okay. Mayor, I would like to make a motion to approve Resolution 55-15.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. 5615, authorized agreement between the Borough of Roselle Park and Housing Rehabilitation Program, case number RP-15, home improvement of the property known as Block 811 lot 9.
All right, Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 56-15.
Second.
Okay, do I hear any discussion, any comments, anything? No? Okay, very good. All in favor?
Aye.
5715, authorizing the borough clerk to auction unpaid police vehicles.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that Resolution 57-15 be approved.
Second.
Okay, any comments, any discussion? How many vehicles we got going out?
One.
One.
Is there any information on the year and the 2000 Toyota?
The 2002 or 2000 Toyota. I have, it's a car that's basically compensated through either an accident and it's unclaimed at the tow yard for longer than 20 days. Anytime we get a vehicle and we tow it to one of our tow yards, if the vehicle remains unclaimed for 20 days, we're allowed by law to auction it. We then, once the 20 days are expired, we notice the owner of that vehicle that we're going to auction it. If they don't respond, we then go to motor vehicle, they give us the title, and then we proceed to have an auction of the vehicle.
Right. So in other words, basically, it's not a police vehicle, it's not a
No.
black and white vehicle.
This one is not.
Okay. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okey-dokey. 5815.
5815 is awarding a contract for vegetative waste, and that would be to Suburban Disposal.
As you heard our chief financial officer state, the only one that came in with the one bid. It was for a 3-year contract, and on his recommendations, the figures are good. So,
Mayor, I would like to make a motion that Resolution 58-15 be approved.
Second.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, Madam Clerk, 59-15.
Is approving the collective bargaining memorandum of agreement between the Borough of Roselle Park and the Public Works Group for the period January 1, 2015 to December 31st, 2019.
Mayor, I would like to make a motion that Resolution 59-15 be approved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion, any comments, any on anything? There was the agreement that the prior committee set up, and originally it was rejected, but then they came back and they accepted it, and so instead of going to fact-finding and arbitration to save us time and money, everybody came upon an agreement, and that's what it is tonight. So,
I just have one question on this. We have the new contract books for council?
I emailed it to you.
no, you mean
The new contract, no?
the contract for the DPW? Yeah.
Yes. Because they accepted it now. so-
Yes.
I emailed it to you. If you need another copy, I'll be glad to give it to you again.
Okay. Okay, at this time, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Madam Clerk, 60-15.
Is authorizing the renewal of health services contract with the Township of Westfield in the amount of $139,317.
Mayor, I would like to make a motion that Resolution 60-15 be approved.
Second.
Okay, any questions? Any discussions? Just to let you know, I am the liaison to the Board of Roselle Park Board of Health. They did approve it at their last meeting. Board of Health Committee approved it. It was like a 2-year deal, the lesser of the two, depending on, some certain things. And so they finally settled their contract, and so the approval and funds were approved by our chief financial officer. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Madam Clerk, 61-15, please.
6115 is terminating the appointment of Negley Engineering as Superintendent of Public Works.
Mayor, I would like to make a motion that Resolution 6115 be approved.
Second.
Okay, any discussions, any?
Chuck, question. Should this, well, I'm sure 6215 will go through the hitch, but
6115, should that be perhaps after 6215? In case 6215 doesn't go through.
Okay.
Switch them.
Okay, we're just gonna hold that to after this, okay. Madam Clerk, 62-15.
Is the appointment of Mark Pasquale to the position of Superintendent of Public Works.
Mayor, I would like to make a motion that resolution 62-15 be approved.
Second.
Okay. All right, open for discussion or any comments?
I have a comment. Okay. I know we can't mention names, however, I know this is something that came up at the last meeting, and I had a couple of questions, and there were things brought up in closed session that I cannot mention. However, since a decision's been made, can some of those things in closed session come out at this point for the purpose of discussion, allowing members of council to make an educated decision?
Councilman, since you are voting on the contract, you can talk about anything, but you can't talk about any employee.
Can I name the position? Can't name a position.
If the position is going to indicate who that person is, you're not allowed to do it.
Okay. All right, so I'll speak to...
Pasquale's name can be mentioned because technically he's not an employee of the borough.
Right.
But anyone else who was an employee of the borough can't be mentioned because he or she was not with us.
Very good. So I will speak in general terms. Just from my perspective, I'm not trying to say this in jest, but in the past, when we needed a superintendent of public works, we went out and we had interviewed people and went through a formal process. In this particular case, the gentleman that's looking to be appointed, who I don't have anything negative against personally, was the acting superintendent for the past 2 years. In that role, he was guided with charging the department, making sure that the Department of Public Works acts efficiently and effectively. It's one of the cautions that I have, and I know I can't mention things in, we're discussing closed session, but there was prior discussion about this particular position, how it would be named, who the individual considered will be. My concern was with the salary amount that the individual's coming in, that the salary include the stipend that was in there for closed, even though the position's superintendent of public works cannot do labor work that's related to the labor contract of union employees. I don't know how many years the individual will or will not be in that position. However, you're starting somebody, you're considering them at a very high level of salary, where potentially there are other candidates out there that might be coming in at a lower salary, just as qualified. I know in the past, and every mayor that comes in, new administration, they make changes and things like that, but the word that was spoken about today and in the past is the word Parker. And I have no issue with going outside of town and bring somebody in internally, but when somebody's paid their dues, whoever that may be, and work through the efforts to accomplish certain goals that at the guidance of the municipality, and then they're taken out of that consideration or whatever it may be, I find it to be really, really discouraging. It's one of the worst things that I've seen in the past 8 years on my council. I don't know if this will work out, won't work out. I know that I'm stepping down, but I do care about the town, the direction of the community, and personally, I think it's a mistake. I'll be voting no for many reasons. I've spoken to countless residents in the community, quite a bit actually, who have indicated to me that they're very sad with this particular decision and the way it's being done, the way it's being implemented, without much explanation to the reason for it. So I appreciate everyone listening to me say a few things, and again, this isn't to be in jest, but I really just wanted to put that out there. So that would conclude my comments.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Just a quick comment, Mayor. I will be voting no on this. I just want to give everybody a quick reason why. Solely just because I just don't feel fundamentally the need to bring on an additional pension onto the budget but I do commend the incredible communication throughout this process, what's been going on with the DPW, different appointment, but I just felt it would be fair to give a reason why I'm voting no.
Okay. I got a few comments, so bear with me. Yes, there was some decisions made a few years ago. Yes, there were some things that were done, and as you know, time, things do change. Well, let me just give back to the people a little synopsis of back in 2009. We had a superintendent retire, and we went outside and interviewed numerous people, and we hired workers for it. And just to let you know, if you don't remember, Councilman Yakubov, it was you that were on the committee that did it. You were the chairman of the DPW at the time.
Including 2 other members of council.
You're absolutely right. I'm not denying that. You were the chairman at that time.
Right.
Okay. What happened was, as you know, the salary at that time when the superintendent left was $70,000. We as council, you, myself, and nobody else here that was on at the time, he went from $70,000 to $80,000. Nobody blinked. Nobody said nothing. Nobody blinked. It went from $70,000 to $80,000, 3-year term. Okay, all 9 yards. Nobody blinked. Some people pushed for this gentleman. Didn't work out. Next thing you know, he was let go. Just to let you know that if, and I'm reporting if, that person was still here today, okay, if that person was still here today, all right, he'd be making $86,170.61. Okay? And due to the circumstances about Mr. Kelly, we're talking about pension and so forth and so on, that gentleman, okay, would be making roughly $24,000 in benefits. Health plan. The new gentleman that's coming on, hopefully, is about a few $100s more, but that depends on what package he decides to take. I don't know personally if his wife has insurance, as we opt out to the other members of this borough, that if they have things, we give them $5,000 in January to opt out, which saves us a ton of money. So if the superintendent was still here today, it would be $86,170.61. Okay? When we negotiated going back to the meeting in January, the price was negotiated, was at $85, the starting salary. And there was a lot of humble, going back and forth. We renegotiated the contract, and it is starting out at $80,000. The same price that was 5 years ago. So through the help of first ward councilman, second ward councilman, and a few others, the borough just saved $6,170.61. And things stayed up for 5 years, which we went out of nowhere. We interviewed, at least this gentleman's been here for 2 years, knows the system, knows everything about it. So that's my comment about the...
If I may respond, I appreciate the clerk giving you cliff notes. And
No, it wasn't the clerk that gave me cliff notes. I did my own research.
Okay. And
more than you've done.
I didn't
That's
interrupt
okay.
you, so
That's
I'm
all right.
asking for the same
Go
courtesy.
ahead.
I think I have a right to express myself. However, if you recall, that process included, along with the clerk, who was on the interview committee,
What was that?
we agreed to hire this gentleman. Everyone was in agreement.
Yes.
We did go through a formal process of interviewing 4 members, I believe, for this position. We opened it up.
Right.
We gave honest consideration. We put certain parameters in place during the contract. Under your premise and your discussion, you're basically saying that, it's not a good idea to go
outside the borough to bring people in and go through a formal interview process, considering the fact that there are other qualified candidates potentially right here within the borough, as a matter of fact, that put a lot of time and energy in to be able to follow the lead of the council. No written promises made of any kind, but I'm just merely expressing that I believe this is the wrong approach. I know you mentioned salary and how much it would cost, but one thing you didn't mention is a lot of the turnover and things that have happened, the morale. Not one thing was mentioned to me for the reason of why Mr. Pasqua is going to be given this position, or why somebody else may not have been eligible to get this position. Perhaps, I don't know if it's a state regulation that somebody has to be hired and paid for by the municipality as opposed to contracted out for that position. Has been for the past 2 years. So I think there's a lot of questions to be asked, but I think I'll let the residents ask those questions. I'm just putting it out there. I'm quite disappointed. I don't, not surprised, perhaps, when you ask people to get things done for you on the side and they do it, perhaps they get kickbacks, but I'm only alluding to that.
Whoa.
You go whoa, but that concludes my
Kickbacks? You're accusing me of kickbacks?
I didn't say that.
Well, you were quiet.
Attorney, what did he just say? What did he just say?
There was a statement about stuff being done, whether there's kickbacks made.
Potentially.
That was a statement made. Mr. Ray, you are chairman. You are the chair. In terms of when someone out of order, that's certainly within your purview.
Yeah, well.
That concludes my comments.
Well, for myself, as a resident who is remaining a resident of Roselle Park, I've been a resident for close to 30 years. I hope that I will be a resident for the foreseeable future. I have no plans to go anywhere else. I am perfectly satisfied with this arrangement. I think it is the best for Roselle Park, for the town that I live in and will continue to live in. And I will say unequivocally, I have never seen a kickback given in this town to anyone of any party, and there has never been any sort of an accusation of that, and I think it's just revolting.
All right, Madam Clerk.
I have something to offer this conversation. Mr. Yacopo, I respect you as a council, human being. Up to now, I would have never thought you would have said anything like this. I figured you were above it. Saying things like cliff notes, it's beneath you. If the mayor would have said it to you, I would have defended you. It's very, very rude. And I wish you luck in whatever you do. This is not something I expected, and I'm disappointed.
Well, I apologize for my frustration, and you know what?
This is,
I just think this is wrong. The way this is being done is wrong. The process that's being followed is wrong. There is no rhyme or reason.
We've all worked very hard to get this accomplished. I've reached out, and you reached out back to me. We've been playing phone tag, but I reached out for your opinion on this. The mayor has gone the extra mile. We've all done it. My colleague Joe here, we deserve better than that comment.
I appreciate everybody's efforts, but again, I'm just saying,
there was something that could have been done, and we would have done it. And I think that is going to come back and haunt you in the future. That's all I would say. I'm not going to.
Madam Clerk, will you please have a roll call on ordinance number resolution number 62-15, please.
Councilman Yacobo?
no.
Councilwoman Story?
Yes.
Councilman Kelly?
No.
Councilman Omarasi?
Yes.
Councilman Miola?
Yes.
Councilman Petrosky?
Yes.
4 votes in the affirmative, 2 in the negative, Mayor.
Thank you. Motion carries. All right, now we're going to go back to 61-15. Madam Clerk.
Councilman Yacobo?
Sure.
Councilwoman Story?
Yes.
Councilman Kelly?
Yes.
Councilman El Rossi,
Yes.
Councilman Viola,
Yes.
Councilman Petrowski.
Yes.
6 votes in the affirmative, Mayor.
Just to let the people know out there, this contract will be terminated, but it'll be prorated because of the, we go by month to month. So according to my chief financial officer, it'll be prorated. Am I correct, sir?
Correct.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, 63-15, please.
Is the appointment of a deputy code enforcement officer.
Do I hear a motion?
Mayor, I would like to make a motion that resolution 63-15 be approved.
Second.
Any discussion? Wow, I can't believe this. No discussion? Have we went outside and picked somebody? Okay,
An interview.
an interview too.
We had many, many hours of interview with people. My colleague and I, we spent plenty of nights here. We went through it with fine tooth comb, and I feel that you're gonna see the benefits for this team in a very short period of time. And that's it.
Okay,
Just for the public's edification, Mayor, this individual has the following certifications. They are a certified zoning officer, they are a licensed building inspector, they are a multiple housing inspector, they are a certified technical assistant to the construction official, and they also are currently employed as a code enforcement multiple housing inspector.
I'd like to have one comment, please. This person that we are hiring, let me get my thoughts straight. The person that we are hiring, with all the credentials that she has, you, the homeowners, you, my parkers, you, the business people, will now have somebody in here that can do a lot more inspections 5 days a week during business hours, where basically it was only on Mondays and Wednesdays. So I applaud the committee that interviewed, and I applaud everybody for doing this, because now we are going to be able to do more, or as I say, the homeowners will hopefully get the bang for the buck. Thank you.
I agree with the mayor, yes.
Okay, Madam Clerk, all in favor of 63-15?
Aye.
We had the motion?
Where are we?
We had a motion, we had a second.
Okay, comments were made?
Yes.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, 64-15.
Is appointing Joseph Haney to the position of broadcast technician.
Mayor, I would like to make a motion that resolution number 6415 be approved.
Second.
Any comments or questions, or? Okay, Joe, I know you're up there filming us. You've done a great job. I'd also like to let the residents know that Joe decided that he did not take a pay increase. He's doing it for the exact same amount as he did last year. Thank you, Joe. Madam Clerk, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Madam Clerk, 6515, please.
Is authorizing the execution of the lease agreement for the Roselle Park Historical Society.
Mayor, I would like to make a motion that resolution 6515 be approved.
Second.
Any comments, questions?
Just want to say that the sign they have that's been painted, member of DPW did that. It looks amazing. So I think it's a great location to continue to stay there. And I'm sure they'll do a lot of great things, and actually have a few things to donate to them. So.
Also, you heard earlier in the meeting to our Chief Financial Officer, as of April, we're going up $25 a month. 10 months is $200, and $250, and another. So you're talking a $300 increase for the upcoming year. Okay? All in favor?
If I could just point out too that everybody who does anything at the Historical Society is a volunteer. There are no paid positions involved there. Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Madam Clerk, 66-15.
Is reconfirming the Municipal Land Use Board's appointment of Mohammed Jahal, Esquire, as the Municipal Land Use Board Attorney.
Mayor, I would like to make a motion that Resolution 66-15 be approved.
Second.
Any comments or questions?
I have a question. Is this individual coming in at the same salary as the previous, or has there been a change?
Councilman, these were RFPs, and they were referred to the Municipal Land Use Board because really they appoint their attorney. We're
For the
just-
bidding process?
Yes.
It is actually $500 cheaper.
Great, okay.
So it's
So nice to see
$500.
the freeholder coming on board.
He was $500 cheaper, and he gave a straight rate where the other people put in an hourly rate, which, as you all know, can eat up the budget or eat up a lot more.
Good.
So he was the cheapest out of the three.
Hopefully it's a service to the municipality.
Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Madam Clerk, 67-15.
Is awarding a contract to S&I Solutions Network Communications LLC, Colonia, New Jersey, for IT services agreement for all borough departments for the year 2015 at the hourly rate of $75 and the annual amount not to exceed $15,000.
Mayor, I would like to make a motion that Resolution 67-15 be approved.
Second.
Any questions or comments?
I have a question. Does this also include IT services for the police department, or is this just for the municipality and they have it separate?
Police also.
It is, it's together.
Yes.
So that's great, okay.
Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Madam Clerk, 68-15, please.
Is authorizing the treasurer to issue checks totaling $26,390.68 payable to 3 lien holders for redemption of 5 tax sale certificates and checks totaling $56,400 from the tax collector's premium account.
Mayor, I would like to make a motion that Resolution 68-15 be approved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? I think we've already discussed this at the open portion of the meeting. Thank you, Mr. Blum, for giving out the details. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Madam Clerk, 16-9-15.
Awarding a professional service proposal to Neglia Engineering for construction management services for the project Fire Alarm System, Municipal Building and Police Department in the amount not to exceed $5,855.
Mayor, I would like to make a motion to approve Resolution 69-15.
Second.
Any questions or comments?
Mayor, I did have a question for the borough engineer. I would have a computer screen kind of blocking me here. Just to give me an idea, do you guys generally help install fire alarm systems in any type of building municipalities?
Council, we don't actually do the installation, but we'll put plans and specs together to go out for a public bid as required by law.
Okay.
I recommend a contractor, lowest bidder. We do that with the borough attorney, and contractor comes in on board like any other contractor, whether it's a road job or mechanical install, and we'll oversee some shop drawings, payment certifications, and some of the installation. Obviously, we won't have somebody here, 8 hours a day after installing wiring and alarm systems. But there'll be, minor supervision and equipment review and certification.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Madam Clerk, 70-15, please.
Is accepting the resignation of Willie Hamilton from the position of alternate school crossing guard.
Mayor, I would like to make a motion that Resolution 70-15 be approved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Madam Clerk, 71-15, please.
Appointing Christy Jo Kraus to the position of alternate school crossing guard.
Mayor, I would like to make a motion to approve Resolution 71-15.
Second.
Okay, any questions or comments? I hope they can serve like Joe Gregory and Carol Morasco did out there for 22 years. Well, welcome aboard, folks. Okay, John, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Finally coming to you, John. Hang in there, buddy. Okay, matters for referral to committee or council, which comes to me, Mayor. I am forwarding, John, John swears as a member of the Roselle Park Recreation Committee to fill the unexpired term of Rich Graves expiring December 31st, 2007.
That's all right.
All in favor?
Aye. Thank
Thank me in a couple of months. No, you got a great program. Great program. 19 years, so welcome aboard. I know you're big in basketball, like along with many other things that in this town. Earlier in the evening, came to councilman's reports and recommendations to the mayor. I held off until last because I just got a couple of things that I just wanted to, As you heard, on Thursday, January the 15th, I'm liaison to the joint meetings. I have all the information upstairs if anybody wants it. I'd be more than happy to give it to you. Basically, the meeting was basically election of officers, people, lawyers, and so forth and like that. On Saturday, January 17th, myself, Councilwoman Story, and Councilman Petrowski, we had the honor of having lunch with the mayor of Jersey City. He came to Roselle Park. He came up with open arms, open hands. Anything that we need from a big city, he has the resources that he would be more than willing to help our small borough. So I felt honored that the mayor of Jersey City came to here offering his help wherever the borough needs. On Tuesday, January 25th, I appointed myself liaison to the Board of Health. I'd like to congratulate Carol Lang as chairperson, Linda Greer as vice president, and Leslie Gutierrez as the secretary. I'm looking forward to another good year with working with our Board of Health, our Westfield, our health nurse, and everybody like that, because they are on top of things. And if anybody needs the information from that, I also have that upstairs. On Friday, January 23rd, Knights of Columbus, we did the free throw concert basketball at the Signorella Youth Center. We had a large turnout of Roselle Park people. It was nice to see the kids, both girls and boys there, to do the free throw. After that, we went up to Roselle Park to watch the Roselle Park wrestling team. Ooh, they had a tough match that night against Scotch Plains. And I should have bet the freeholder because his son wrestled. So, congratulations to the Roselle Park wrestling team that night. It was a tough one. Saturday, as you heard, Councilman Petrowski stated that Saturday, on January the 24th, the Knights of Columbus, along with many partners, other people, other organizations, they came together to show the support of what happened. They lost their home on New Year's Eve. The amount of people that came, I was getting gift cards from all over the country. The people, the spaghetti dinner with everything was donated. So I was pleased to see that everybody coming together to help a family that was in need. That's the one thing that I can honestly say. We don't have the industry, we don't have a lot of these things, but the big thing that we got in Roselle Park that we can't beat, and you've seen me do it, folks. We got heart. We got heart, and thank you to everybody. That night, I was honored to attend the First Aid Squad dinner to swear in the new officers. There was a whole bunch of people. We're supposed to give out awards tonight. We have people that received their volunteer pin for 35 years of service to the residents of this borough, and I thank them. Excuse me. Also, you heard on Wednesday, January 28th, we went down to the Art Center, the San Jose Center for the Art Show. Ed did a great job, doing that, and I recommend everybody to go down to go see his show. I'd like to put out my congratulations and the fine effort that our emergency services did, our DPW did, And I want to say about 98.9% of the people of this borough. In my 28 years on law enforcement patrolling these streets during storms, my 9 years after I've been off the police department, the day of the storm, I walked out in front of my house and I looked out and I looked up and I said, thank you for dodging the bullet. But I happened to walk out to the corner of Grant and Hemlock. I looked to my left and I looked to my right. And it's the first time, I think, in my lifetime, in my 30-something years on the streets, there wasn't one car on Grant Avenue. Not one. And I thank them. You saw what happens when you get the cars off the street. We had people putting them on their front lawn. I put a few pictures on my Facebook page. They put them on their front lawn. They backed them onto over the curb, on the grass, but not blocking the sidewalk. One lady backed it into the driveway with her other cars, you know. And you can see what happens when the plows come. I'm sorry about Roosevelt Street, but maybe we can. But the DPW, 32 hours, fantastic. Okay? They picked up the ideas now. The old mentality was they only salted the intersections. Now they salt the whole street. And you see what happens when it gets down there. I applaud them. I applaud our police department for getting the cars off the street. I applaud our fire department for maintaining the fire departments. You know, their guys that were up there waiting in the command center that they built. Our first aid squad, they had people up there sleeping for us, the residents, in case we needed them. As you saw on the headlines, the article that Roselle Park News put out, that we made the top 90 in the safest cities in the state, state of New Jersey. I hope it's my goal, I hope it's the goal of this council to get us into the top 50, to get us into the top 10. And with you, the volunteers, and everybody else that's doing it, it's fantastic. As you heard, our police chief mentioned 2 new vehicles that we got. It's an Army truck. Can't wait to drive it. I'm going to say Marine truck. And a Hummer vehicle, free of charge to maintain. That God forbid the storms do come. Hopefully they won't. I don't want my 4 years to be like the last one. But I'm just saying, these are the things that I am proud to say, sitting up here with my fellow colleagues, to make us look good, to make you look good, to make this town look good. So I applaud everybody. Again, it kind of got a little lax after the first big storm. There was a couple people, please, get in the habit. If you hear snowstorm, get the car off the street. Shovel the walks, shovel the hydrants, okay? So, please, we did good, let's keep it that way. And of course, last but not least, I got my dog and cats. Out of 734 dogs, only 475 have been licensed as of today. Out of 158 cats, only 122 have been licensed by today. Please hear the following warning. Please be advised that summonses will be issued the week of March 9th. Summonses will be issued the week of March 9th for any 2015 unlicensed pet that were licensed in the borough during the year 2014. Folks, if you licensed your animal in 2014 and something happened, the animal passed away, it ran away, you've given it away, you have to come down and tell us. This way here we can take it off the record, because if not, you will get a summons. So please, if you have a problem, you can't afford it, or you need something, please contact me, and I will do my best to work with you. Because if not, you get the summons, you have to come to court, lose a day's pay, sit here, and if you don't come to court, standard is you get a warrant for your arrest, so forth and so on, and then possibly, which happened to a few people last year, the state punches in your name, hits a button, and your driver's license is revoked, and you don't want to spend the day with DMV. So please, okay, dog and cats, I thank everybody, and that concludes my report. So, closed session. Whereas the mayor and council of the Borough of Roselle Park wish to discuss matters which are described in New Jersey Open Public Meeting Act Sunshine Law. Whereas the general nature of the subjects to be discussed in the closed session are
Personnel matter and construction office?
personal matter and constructional, that's it, right?
Nothing from legal.
2 seconds.
CFO may have something, I'm not sure. Nothing at this time.
Oh, thank you. Whereas the time or the circumstances under which the items discussed in closed session will be disclosed to the public at the future, now therefore, be resolved that the mayor and council of Borough of Roselle Park adjourn the open portion of this meeting and open a closed portion of the meeting to discuss the above item. Do I have a motion to please go into closed?
Mayor, I would like to make a motion to go into closed session.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
In favor? Aye. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we are in closed session. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, there was a matter discussed on a personnel issue. Due to the fact it is a personnel issue, at this time, we tabled the motion for at least 90 days. And that includes what happened in closed session.
Mayor, I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So be it.